Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trends Tech. And today we are talking about the Bambu Lab H2S and basically 1 week of usage with the H2S. Now, you may be asking yourself, how did I get from an A1 Mini to an H2S? Essentially, we got the A1 Mini for Christmas for my kid, and we started printing stuff. And my goodness, we started enjoying it so much and printing different things that we just kind of just fell in love with it, to be honest. Like, it was just no fuss, no muss, and we had a good time. Now, saying that, one of the things that I guess was a drawback with the A1 Mini was the fact that the bed was just really, really small. So I was actually looking into getting a 3D printer for myself, and the A1 Mini would still continue to be my kid's printer that he would experiment on. And then I have a printer that I would use and experiment on, and I eventually came across the P2S. I spent God knows how much time looking at H2S, H2D, and then even the H2C, whether it made sense to do this or do not. So I actually just went with the P2S because the H2S was just sold out everywhere. I remember looking, refreshing, checking this, checking out, going to Micro Center. It was there 1 minute, gone the next. They were just buying these things out. They were flying off the shelves. It was holiday season, so it was a mess. So I got a P2S, and then I sat on it. I didn't unbox it because I was actually afraid that I was gonna open up the P2S and feel like I was settling, and then even though the build plate is bigger on the P2S, I felt like, you know what, I might as well just get the biggest build plate that's available at the cheapest cost. So I ended up returning the P2S, and then I came across the H2S. So that's the backstory with that. But as far as the H2S, like, it's a big printer. If you really can't lift a lot of weight, make sure you definitely use that two-person lift because you do not want to fall with this thing. One, you don't want to hurt yourself. Two, you don't want to damage anything inside, and kind of just go from there. The unboxing experience was kind of unique because I've never unboxed a piece of tech this large before, but after I started getting things unboxed and starting figuring, how to undo this and do that, things got a little bit easier. I should have read the instruction manual, but me being the tech person that I am, I did not read the instruction manual. I'm just like, yo, I'm just gonna take this thing out the box. Everything's gonna work. I was half right. I got most of the things out and started, figuring it out along the way. But as we got to the point to where you have to start removing stuff, as far as like all these little things that are holding things down, you have to use the Allen key that comes inside there and start doing stuff. But it's still straightforward enough to where you can see where to put the Allen key and where to turn everything. Now, to a certain degree, it was a little bit easier because you have more space inside the 3D printer. But in certain areas, like, my hands were getting in the way because my hands are a little bit larger, and just trying to twist this little tool and then dexterity really wasn't all the way there sometimes. I wish Bamboo had like a better tool set to come with this. I would highly recommend having like an electric screwdriver or something like that with like a very long bit. But yeah, like, I get it. Like, you're not paying the most amount of money for something, but they give you just enough just so you can be cool. But going through the rest of the printer, taking everything off, finally getting it all figured out. Once you get everything undone and set up, you're good to go. You do have to be careful because you do have to use scissors to like get off some of the zip ties or whatnot. You want to make sure you don't cut anything else, but beyond that part, everything else is cool. After that, once you have it all set up, pretty much you can just print right away. Now, a lot of people say, hey, go ahead, update the firmware, which you probably should update the firmware. I personally did not update the firmware. I was just like, yo, I took the A1 Mini out the box and just printed right away without doing any updates. So I took this out the box and printed right away without doing any updates. And I did set the AMS, but I only used one color at first because I was just testing it out. My first print came out great. Didn't have to do anything, didn't have to touch any settings. Literally just went into the Bamboo Handy app, picked something, selected the printer, said go. Bob's your uncle. It went off and did its own thing. I was like, oh my God, that is so great. That's awesome. And pretty much once it was done, it's using Bamboo. And I'm pretty sure this is like with other brands, but if you use one Bamboo printer, you can pretty much use any other bamboo printer, and they're very, very similar. There's not much of a learning curve between the two printers. It's not that severe. Once you like start off with one, you move to the other, and you're pretty much good to go. As far as like the pros of this whole thing, set it and forget it. Okay. You don't have to tinker that much. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. It's something that I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to think about it. So that is a good pro to this. The other pro to it is, like I said, the build volume is so large that now I really don't have to worry about what I'm gonna print. Whereas like on the A1 Mini, I'm like, okay, I know I'm limited to this size, even though that in the Bamboo Handy app, they're showing larger models that are available for, all these other things. Now, yes, I know you can kind of shrink the models or cut them down, but I'm like, I just like having the flexibility of either choosing the big model or the small model and just running through the Bamboo Handy store or whatnot. And then pretty much I'd say like the last pro to this, in my opinion, is the fact that that camera in there is so much better than the camera that's on the A1 Mini. Like I've tried watching prints before with the Bamboo Handy app and the A1 Mini. Good luck. You're just gonna see like blurs of stuff going across the screen. You can't even watch it in real time. Whereas this thing, I can watch it at real time at work and it's good to go. So those are like the main pros in my opinion. I'm pretty sure there's other stuff about this thing that I'm gonna like and I'll share about it later, but that's it for the pros. The cons, and I really wouldn't even call them cons, I just say like they're like drawbacks or things you have to work around. First off is the fact that it has one nozzle. Now, before you guys go crazy, because I know a lot of people out there like having one nozzle, I have an AMS with this. So having an AMS with a one nozzle printer can be a con because of the amount of filament usage that happens. So when you have one nozzle, you have one color coming through the nozzle. Then when it switches colors, it has to purge that. The AMS has to pull it back up, pull out another filament, use that, get heated up, do this and do that. And if you have like a print that's more than two colors, then that time goes up significantly. Already, if you had like, let's say the H2D with the two nozzles, you could still print fast because you have a filament in each nozzle and it can just, just keep going. But with one nozzle, it has to do that every single time. You add in three or four colors, like the max amount of colors that you can use on the AMS, it will definitely extend the amount of time that you can use with that. So that could be a con. And like I said, the time, the filament usage may be more than what you expect as opposed to having an H2D or having an H2C and saving on filament. Now, there is an argument between, okay, do you spend more money and get this machine that's more filament, saving, or do you just take that same amount of money and just buy all the filament and then wonder if you're even going to get through all the filament? That's one of the reasons why the P2S is so popular, because you can basically get a P2S for $800 and then you could spend the other almost $1,000 on filament and you probably wouldn't run out unless you're doing a print farm. So it kind of depends on what you're going to do with it. But for me, it's a little bit of a con because right now I'm looking at my filament stack and all the different colors and all the different things I want to do. And while I'm comfortable with it now, I feel like later on I'm possibly going to want an H2C, but that's just like the small con of it. The last con, in my opinion, even though I talked all this wonderful, glorious stuff about set it and forget it, it does a lot of things that makes life easy. There will be times where you will have to troubleshoot this. So, a perfect example is I did a print of a gecko. It was like a rainbow colored gecko, I think pink and gold. And I printed it last night and I went to sleep because I've gone to sleep before and this thing is printed and things have come out perfectly fine. There was no issues whatsoever. I woke up in the morning, looked at the app, and then it said, hey, there is a clog detected in the nozzle. And immediately I had like a mini panic attack. I'm like, what do you mean there's a clog? Like, what do I do with that? Fortunately, with Bambu, they have like this AI assistant, and it actually has the AI detection system inside of this machine. It will tell you pretty much what it thinks is wrong or what it's detecting. And so I was actually able to come down here and cut the filament and follow the steps. And there's actually like a good amount of support for this. And the printer was right back up and running. Even though the print stopped at 99%, it was literally like a 2-minute fix. And then boom, bam, I was back up and running. So that was like a con, but also like a pro mixed into one. So yeah, you're gonna have times where a print may fail. You're gonna have to be careful with the bed. You make sure you're not putting your fingers all over the bed, because the oils in your skin can get on the bed, and that can lead to adhesion problems and things like that. So all in all, I would say there are more benefits than drawbacks with this machine, and a lot of things are going to come down to really what you need, what your use case scenario is, what you want to pay versus what you don't want to pay, and where you want to be at. If I had to do it all over again, knowing what I know today, I would have rather have gone with a P2S first and then an H2S, or maybe just even just the H2S. But I wouldn't have known what I know today unless I went ahead and got the A1 Mini first and then figured it out. So that's essentially where I'm at. Overall, this past week doing stuff, this has given me less things to worry about, and it's actually made my life easier. The only main thing that I'm really trying to get over as a new user to this is the fact that I have a lot of like decision fatigue. And what do I mean by decision fatigue? It's like, okay, I know I have the AMS and I can print it to 4 colors or maybe 5 colors if I run the extra spool. It's doing the color combinations for the multicolored prints, because yes, you could print out an item just as one color and paint it later. But the more that I'm thinking about it, I really don't want to paint anything. I'm kind of at the point where I'm either going to print one color or I'm going to make it multicolored. And then you run into the thing of, okay, do I have enough filament for the multicolor prints? And which filament am I going to use for the prints that are just going to be one color? So it kind of opens up this another thinking of filament management and what colors to get. And then sometimes I'm on the app and I'm just scrolling and I'm like, well, what am I going to print? I go to look at a print and it's saying, all right, this print is going to take 20 hours. And I'm still trying to get past the fact that I really don't want to print anything past 8 hours. But at some point, I'm going to have to do that and just test it out and just kind of run it from there. But the other part of the decision fatigue is, okay, I don't really want to be wasting filament. So it's like I have to find the model, decide I want to do that, make sure I want to have it around, and then just print it. I don't want to have a bunch of just random things I have printed and it doesn't have a use case scenario to it. So that's essentially how I feel about coming into Bamboo, using their machines, and essentially starting to fall in love with 3D printing. And now enjoying YouTube again, enjoying some new tech, right? Not losing my mind over what Apple's going to come out with or not come out with. And so, yeah, moving more into 3D printing and doing this now. And maybe I'll make some Apple accessories. I actually think I printed like a stand or something like that before. But yeah, I think in the next video, I'll probably talk more about what I've printed and just the experience of enjoying that. But as far as this goes, to me, this is worth the money. It's a little pricey, but it's definitely worth the money. So if you guys enjoyed this rambling review of talking about things, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right, y'all. Take it easy. Peace.